Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? It is it is nighttime. That's all you need to know. That's it. Video's over. Thank you for watching. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it is nighttime, and it is a Monday night, which is one of my days off because I work in the restaurant industry, and what the hell is a weekend? But and people that work in the industry will get that and understand that. What is that? That is nothing. Okay. So anyway, I just finished watching the Blair Witch Project trilogy. I'd seen them before, obviously. They're not new to me. Pocket full of serviettes. But anyway, sorry. But yeah, so I thought I would just rate them, and I think to a point, most people are sort of kind of have the same opinion on which one is good. What I will say before I start talking about this, there are a few fan films that I've seen on YouTube that are really, really well done. So if you like the Blair Witch Project movies, especially the first one and even the third one, check them out. Some of them are actually really well done. Like there's one I can't remember what it was called. I think I can't remember. I'm even gonna guess at it, but it was really good. It's about an hour long, and it sort of follows the same sort of style as the first one. So yeah, check it out. And there's a few others, but let's get into these movies here, and we'll talk about them briefly. It's gonna be a short video. It's only 3 movies, but I'm gonna start with the least favorite and then my favorite of the bunch. My least favorite is Blair Witch Book of Shadows. It does have some interesting things about it. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not an especially good movie. But it's well casted. I will give it that. It's got a lot of talent. One thing it's got going for it, I have to look down because I had to write everybody's names because I couldn't remember them all. And that's the wrong movie. There we go. Is it's got Erica Learson in it, and I'm gonna say she is absolutely stunning. The only other thing I know her really from off the top of my head is the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it's also got a lot of other talents. Kim Director, Jeffrey Donovan, yes I am reading, Tristan Schuyler, and Stephen Barker Turner. Decent actors, like good actors in their own rights, just not a particularly good movie. It does have some interesting things in it that are like Easter eggs that if you do watch the movie, especially on a rewatch, that you can look for and find are there's some scenes where the Blair Witch symbol is floating across some water. Some names are changed in the background, like on a tombstone. I think there's one, I think it's Kim Director. I think she was the goth character. And she's lying on like a tombstone or something. It has a name, and then when it cuts to her again, it's a different name. And it's supposedly all things that were done just by the witch, I guess. Magic, spookiness, making it happen. But just a few interesting things like that, and like it's an okay watch to watch it once in a while. Watch it. It's not one I would watch too often, but maybe once in a while I'll throw it on. Second one obviously is going to be Blair Witch, which I do really I actually do like this one. It's more in line with the first film in the way that it's shot. It's got some interesting time things going on where time isn't going by, and people are experiencing different times. I don't know how else to word it. Like one guy's been disappeared for a week, but it's only been a couple hours for everybody else. He's sort of the borderline antagonist of the film, but it's still an alright film. I think the worst part of the only part of the film that makes me cringe, just because it's something that it's sort of a phobia of mine, is one of the characters has to escape through a tunnel in the ground, and what's it called, spelunking, when you do cave diving and shit and you go through, that's something I would never do, because the idea of getting trapped somewhere underground like that just terrifies the hell out of me. And that part always makes me like cringe, even though I know, spoiler alert, she gets away, or she gets out of the tunnel, but it's just watching her wiggle her way and she gets stuck for a minute, and it just cringes. I get goosebumps just thinking about stuff like that. But a lot of people have issues in this film that because you actually see the witch for a few frames here and there. I like that. I'm glad they didn't show it in the first film because it would have taken away a lot of the mystique. But this is the third film in. There's a lot of lot of lore around the movies and fan stuff and fan films and everything else. So why not show the witch? It extends. It also talks about like how she was killed. It just adds a little bit more to what was already said in the first film. Is it as good as the first film? No. Not like the first film is pretty iconic, but it does go into a little bit more detail on how she was killed, and she was strung up in the trees, and they stretched her arms out and legs or tied weights to them or something to that effect. And you do see her for just a few like few frames. Like if you were to sneeze at that part, you'd totally miss her. So you don't see her a lot of detail. It's just in the background. Some people had an issue with that. I think by the third film, show the witch, because we all kind of want to see what she looks like anyway. So go for it. And I do like that addition. I'm glad you don't see her running around chasing them like Jason or something through the woods like an actual monster. It's just a quick clip. And to me it works. But it is a good movie. Do I recommend it? Yes. I said recommend this one. If you don't watch it, you're not missing a whole lot. But if you like the Blair Witch, the first one, and you haven't seen the other two, yeah, give it a watch. It goes in a completely different direction, but it's still watchable. It's still okay. Oh, something interesting too. When I open this one up, I still got my ticket stub from when I saw it in the theater when it came out. I'm weird. I keep almost all my ticket stubs, but this one I didn't actually see in the theater. I think I saw it on Netflix a couple years ago for the first time, and then I bought a copy just because I'm a completist and I wanted to have them all. Plus, it's a good movie. And my favorite one, obviously, is the original Blair Witch Project. Often getting miscredited as being the first found footage movie, but it's not. All it did was, well, what it did was bring the genre back. Sorry, drink of water. Bring the genre back to life, and just sort of bring more attention to that genre. In my opinion, a little too much attention, because there's been so many films that have just copied it and copied it and copied it to the point where even the movies that they were going for this style mainly because it's cheaper to make. Just it gets kind of boring. I mean, I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I think the Paranormal Activity series is crap. I think it's boring. I watched the first one when it first came out, and everyone's going on about how scary it was. I watched it, and I was like, this really isn't that interesting. Mind you, I do watch a lot of horror films, so it was not that good. And then the second one was kind of like the same thing, only I think there was a dog at it or something. But and I forgot to mention who's casted in the second one. I didn't mention it. Not the second one. Where's my notes? The third one. James Allen McCoon, Callie Hernandez, Corbin Reed, Brandon Scott, Wes Robinson, Valerie Curry, and Heather Donahue. But I think it's just you're just hearing her voice, so she's getting credited for that. And there's like a flash of her from outside. You see what's supposed to be her upstairs. Sure, it's not the same actor, but I think it's just they're using her voice for a few screams. But I thought I should throw that in there. But again, this did bring new light back to the genre. It was scary. I remember seeing it in the theater, which reminds me, I still got my ticket stub in there too. And it was the midnight showing of when it first came out, so I was like one of the first people to see it in terms of, well, when it came out in Toronto anyway. So yeah, it's I really like the movie. Interesting. This scene here, it's an iconic scene where she's talking to the camera and she's crying and everything. It was actually supposed to be, she wasn't supposed to be up close, but when she put the camera on, she had it zoomed right up to her face and didn't realize it was like that, right? And it just worked better, so they were able to use it. And it's kind of like the most iconic image in the entire film. I like how they came up with the little stickmen that they use. And what I do like too is that they used their real names in the movie to kind of sell it as, because these were real people. And then they sort of went into, I'm not going to say into hiding, but didn't do any promotions or didn't do any movies or anything for 1 year after the film was made to sell that it was real. They didn't want them doing appearances on talk shows or other things selling the movie. Well, it was still in people's mind that it could be real. And it did freak freaked me out. I think it was, yeah, 'cause it came out in 1999, so I was still pretty young. Well, I was in my 20s, early 20s, but yeah, it's a good movie, and I do recommend seeing this. Out of them all, if you're only going to see one, you haven't seen any, definitely see this one. And the other two, you know, just, well, watch them anyway. I don't know, they're decent movies. And it's, Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, Joshua Leonard, and Patricia Decow. I'm not sure how to say her name, but she was the older lady. I only put her in the. I only wrote her down because she's actually kind of a memorial. Where's my brain? She is just kind of an important side character, I guess, secondary character in the movie. You only see, but she's the most memorable one. I guess you could say that's what I'm trying to say, memorable. And she passed away actually earlier this year, 2007. I think she was 73. But this is the only acting I think she's ever done. I think a lot of the people they're interviewing on the streets were legitimate people they were interviewing on the streets. And I think she was just one, and she was probably the most interesting. But anyway, that's my take on the Blair Witch Project, or the Blair Witch trilogy anyway. So yeah, the Blair Witch Project is my favorite. Just the one just called Blair Witch. What's in the bottom? There's something evil hiding in the woods. Well, we got that in the first two movies, but that's okay. And then Book of Shadows. And the documentaries that go along with them, the fake documentaries, the mockumentaries, I guess you can call them, they're pretty good too. The one for this one isn't as good, but by then everybody already knew that it was fake. But the one that comes with this one, I remember seeing it on TV before the movie actually came out, called Curse of the Blair Witch. Even if you just watch that, it's still pretty interesting. But that's all I'm going to say about that. And if you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. That would be awesome. And cat hair. And I guess until the next one. Bye.